Hi, my name is David Dolinger. I have a PhD in microbiology and immunology, and for the last 35 plus years, I've actually been developing tests for human diseases, especially those that are infectious diseases. My Korean name is Im Dae-un, and that was given to me by my Korean teachers when I first came to Korea. My family name is Im, which is forest, and my given name is Daeun, which is big cloud. What was strange is when I got into Gwangju, as we were pulling into the bus terminal, you could smell the tear gas in the air. So we knew it something had happened, and also from the news, we had known that martial law had been put in place the previous night. What was interesting coming into the station, it was very crowded. There were soldiers, people everywhere. And when I went to get my ticket to go to Yongam, I was told that all the buses had stopped running. And so I'd have to spend the night in Gwangju. So I started to walk towards an inn where I normally would stay when I was in Gwangju, and I met Tim. And Tim then started, as we walked together, tell me about everything that he had seen. So he had actually seen the start of protests in downtown Gwangju by the students, and then the brutality of the Black Berets who had been sent to Gwangju to deal with any potential protests or demonstrations that would occur because of the martial law being put in place. He told me how soldiers just followed people into small stores, dragging them out, beating them, and herding them into the middle of the street. But he also told me how he was able to protect Koreans by actually grabbing them and placing himself in between the soldiers. Early in the morning, I made a decision that I should go to Gwangju because I was worried about Tim as well as my Korean friends that were in Gwangju. And early in the morning, we had also found out that all telephone lines had been cut to Gwangju, so there was no more ability to call anyone and find out what was going on. So I actually caught a very early morning bus. I was able to make it as far as Naju, which was in between Yongam and Gwangju. In Naju, the bus driver said he wouldn't take the bus any further because it was too dangerous. And then I made the decision that I should walk into Gwangju. On that walk, I saw my first sort of images of seeing the demonstrators in buses and trucks as they were headed into the countryside to tell people what had been occurring in Gwangju. And it was also where I had my first run in with the Korean CIA, where they wanted to take my camera and the film that I had used to take pictures of some of the demonstrators. The interaction with the KCIA agent, I felt very threatened. I finally realized that maybe I could be hurt, that my being an American was not a shield that would protect me. Also, on that walk in was where I started to also see the soldiers shooting from helicopters down into groups of people. And again, I realized maybe I'm not sort of as immune from the potential of getting hurt as I thought I was. We tried to help as much as we could by translating for all the foreign journalists that had been able to get into Gwangju, because most of them came down with no translators whatsoever. We went around the city to try to witness was going on. We went to all the major hospitals in town to talk to people in the emergency rooms, to talk to patients, to also visit the morgues to document those that had fallen. Tim knew Gwangju better than any one of the other ones of any of us. Tim was also very good at Korean. He spoke Korean better than probably all of us put together. And Tim was just this very personable person who pretty much everyone we knew, everyone I knew liked. He also really, he and I together sort of did not want to leave Gwangju because we knew that it was important for us to stay there. He's one of the people that in the beginning on the 18th was grabbing Koreans to try to protect them. Gwangju to me is sort of my birth as a human being. It made me realize what I should be willing to do with my life, how I should be willing to dedicate my life to others. Because that's what you saw during Gwangju. It's part of me. I am Im Dae-woon. I'm a person now with two names. And in Korea, I always want to be referred to as Im Dae-woon.